Hey guys, Haikrazon here with another Platinum Trophy video, and today's a little different. So I recently went back and got the Platinum Trophies for Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. Don't even get me started on the sub games. It's ridiculous. I'm not doing those ones. And it got me thinking, it's kind of unfortunate. It seems like, for the most part, at least for me personally, that my favorite games seem to have the worst Platinum Trophies or some of the worst trophies tied into them. And going into that, I know Platinum Trophies are meant to be, like bragging rights or accomplishments, and that's not always the case. But it's weird that it seems tied to, especially JRPGs, but not only those, that they sometimes have trophies that force you into play styles that you don't enjoy, or multiple playthroughs. And I know there's a lot of annoying trophies that a lot of us don't like, particularly online ones, multiplayer ones. I personally have never been a big fan of multiple playthroughs, kind of with the biggest reason being a little on the petty side, really. More so, I think about it from like a developer standpoint of like, one, trophies are like an afterthought for them, right? They're not really thinking about that too much. As a developer and you release your game, like, are you really that confident that people are going to love your game so much they're willing to play it 2, 3, 4 times, whatever it takes? So that's always funny. Obviously, that's not the case, especially in the trophy hunting community. A lot of us are willing to do crazy things or put in an absurd amount of hours. But when it comes to an overall platinum experience, that you are actually proud of, and it's not just too easy, but you really enjoy the title and you do want to put time into it, or if it's skill based or whatever that might be. But Kingdom Hearts 1 specifically, not only does Kingdom Hearts 1 have, beat the game, right? Obviously, it's also beat the game on all the difficulties, but you have to beat it on the hardest difficulty. You have to speed run it, and you also have to beat the game without using a continue, which is again doable, especially if you're great and you're good at it on proud mode. One hell of a challenge, but it's doable. And then also, this is probably the most annoying one: beat the game without changing your equipment. That's not even really that much of a challenge. That's just annoying. Like a quarter of the fun of Kingdom Hearts is getting the new gear and the new keyblades and getting to use them differently, whether you're going magic or strength or whatever it is. That one's really annoying. I actually saw a speedrun video where this guy speed ran the platinum, and it was really cool. He beat it first as fast as he could without changing equipment, and then swapped the equipment to go take care of all the 100% stuff, optional bosses. It's just it's so annoying, but also strange that they would tie those into everything, because JRPGs like this are not quick games. You look up the PSNP guides and they give you like the estimated hours for completion, or for the platinum, and it's like, for JRPGs most of the time that's already going to be a large number. So yes, you can say that it's an awesome feat to have beaten the game 100% with all the collectibles, side content, and everything on the hardest difficulty. Yes, that is awesome. I think most of us aren't going to do that. Even when you look at the guides, it'll be like, oh, make sure you do your first playthrough on easy or normal, so that way you can do all the 100% stuff and all the cleanup stuff with relative ease, right? It just makes sense in terms of efficiency. And then it's like, okay, now do a second playthrough specifically for speed, or specifically for the hardest difficulty, so you don't need to mess with the optional bosses, giving yourself an unnecessary challenge. And that's kind of the thing too with platinum trophy hunting. It's not necessarily about giving yourself a harder challenge, because when you post a platinum in the Facebook groups or the Discords or whatever you're doing, people just see that game's platinum, right? They don't know that, oh wow, you did the whole thing on the hardest difficulty when you didn't need to. It's already such a chore to 100% JRPGs and a lot of open world games nowadays as is, so to add on difficulties, it's just very annoying. It's just like, it's forcing more playtime out of your game. Like, god damn it, how much time do you want me to spend playing your game, right? And that's fine. I mean, a lot of people do like it. I did eventually get these platinums after many years. I didn't get them on PS3. I didn't get them when they first came out on PS4. I don't know why. I just got a bug to play the Kingdom Hearts games again, and finally managed to get through it and actually do the stuff I didn't want to do. And that's just kind of like the annoyance part. But then also, yeah, the changing equipment, like, dude, come on, why? There are certain platinums where by the time I get the platinum, even though I loved the game so much, at the end I'm like, oh, okay, fuck this game. I don't ever want to play this shit again. I'm so burnt out at the end. It was such a slog, even though it could be an incredible game, right? Like, and even though trophy hunters and achievement hunters account for a pretty small percentage of the gaming base, right? And it's pretty niche. Still though, like, you should want to provide an overall positive and good experience that can also be challenging and rewarding, and you have a sense of accomplishment. That's awesome. But the trophies in general, I didn't look at them as accomplishments. I felt like they were just chores. Like, okay, cool, I already spent 60, 70, 80, 100 hours, whatever the game is, doing the 100%, because that's what JRPGs and open world games are nowadays, or even like the old school PS2 ones. And then you're like, okay, now I have to do this additional stuff because, you know, like at that point you're doing the trophy to get the platinum, not to do the accomplishment, right? You know, I'd much rather see platinum trophies locked behind things like optional bosses that are incredibly challenging, or even like in you know, Elden Ring, you know, most of that trophy list is just defeat bosses, and plenty of them being optional. I love seeing stuff like that because that's all skill dependent, right? It's all trial and error. No matter how good or bad you are at Souls games, you're eventually going to get it because you're playing the game and you're getting better. That's awesome. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. Or even, you know, collectibles that can always burn people out. But it's great when they're tied into rewards. Kind of on that note, touching on Kingdom Hearts 1 having a speed run, it's just another chore to have on a game like this. But then you have games like Resident Evil, really any of them, 7 and 8. Well, I have 5, 6, 7, and 8. The older ones are very stressful. But you know, at least those games are kind of built to be a little bit quicker, right? So it's not as daunting. But on top of that, you're rewarded for doing some of these weirder playthroughs with certain stipulations or speed runs. You get rewards that you can then use to continue earning the platinum trophy or other trophies. So that it's just a really well done, cohesive design, but it all feels very cohesive and it all feels very positive in the end. Whether or not you can get it or whether or not it was hard for you as an individual, it all goes together. It doesn't feel like anything's tacked on, like they're just trying to get extra game time out of you, especially when the game is already like 1,000,000 hours as is. That's always really frustrating. And then 3 with Kingdom Hearts 3, fortunately they did a lot better. I'm actually working on that one right now, but there's no difficulty trophies, there's no speedruns, there's no, hey, do this specific way or anything like that. So that's really nice. I will say it's not challenging either, so it's not much of an accomplishment to do that one. But it's good to see that they went in that direction, because a couple other ones like the Final Fantasy VII remake, I got burned out on that one. I didn't get the platinum. It's not that hard. It's just that game to me wasn't worth playing again. I think because you have to beat it a second time on the harder difficulty, which is fine. It really wasn't that much of a spike in difficulty. I didn't care for it, and not the game as a whole. I mean, I love Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy X is my childhood Final Fantasy, so I actually really enjoyed the game. Like, none of the changes bothered me with the combat or anything. I really enjoyed my first playthrough, but I think I got up to the house boss fight on the second playthrough before I just got burnt out and started playing something else. I don't even remember. And that it sucks. It sucks to see that, because I would have loved to have that platinum, and I don't know, I could still go back to it, but I don't know if I will, because I felt like I got my 100% enjoyment, satisfaction out of my initial playthrough. Kingdom Hearts, man, I always intend on getting a platinum when I start a game. Doesn't always happen. My percentage is kind of low. I tried on PS3, initial PS4, and then came back and did it on my PS5. So yeah, it can happen, but like, I don't want to have to do it over that much time, right? And then I think Final Fantasy 16 actually just picked that up today. I know they have a similar thing where you have to beat it again with New Game Plus, but I think there are new equipments, different enemy placements, things like that. So that's cool that it is going to change it up a bit, and that does help that. But again, like, don't force me to play your game again for a trophy when, like, that's like not a lot of people want to do that, but that's kind of what a platinum trophy is too. So I get it. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. It's weird that a lot of the JRPGs or the bigger games in general already, and I mean bigger in terms of like content size and experience, everything wise, you know, you already have to spend so many hours doing stuff. Oh wait, here's some more, and it's not new content, it's just you doing it again, right? It's like, I don't know, it's a weird design choice, but I know it all stems from devs not really thinking about trophies. Like if I see someone post a Diablo 2 platinum, yeah, I'm gonna commend them greatly. I mean, not only is that a massive time investment, it's also scary. I mean, you gotta not die on a hardcore character. So like, yes, that stuff is awesome stuff. I don't know if I'll ever do. I'd like to. I do love Diablo, but even like Final Fantasy X, that's my favorite one. I don't know if I'll ever get that platinum, just because maxing out every sphere grid, maxing out one sphere grid is annoying enough. But that's a better trophy design, because that's just your dedication into time. You're not having to rinse and repeat the entire story, the entire game and cutscenes, whether they're skippable or not. I mean, talk about time investment, it's kind of the same idea. I can only fight that goddamn Tonberry so many fucking times before I lose my mind. And I've done it every handful of years, and I still never get it. And I love that game. It's my favorite game ever. But it's still a better design, because it's just how committed are you to this? And you can say the same about difficulties, but at least the burnout is like, okay, I'm grinding this XP method. Not, okay, let's play through the entire game 2 more times. Like, especially when there aren't actual rewards for it. That's the really strange one to me, because at that point it's just the trophy, right? I don't know. And then again, anything, there's plenty of other games that do this. Any game that like forces you into a different play style, and this is kind of going back to the changing equipment trophy. Like, why you're literally just asking the people that want to go after this trophy, even if it's not a lot, you're asking them to not have fun by forcing whatever play style onto that, especially because that's not that challenging. It's really not. It's just annoying at that point. It's literally just taking away the fun. Which is just a weird decision. I mean, some games handle that a little differently. I played this game called Smite for quite a while. It's kind of hard to compare, because it's a games as a service. It's been going on for a long time. There was a trophy where you had to master 70 different playable characters, and they're well over 100 now, and every character is so drastically different if you're familiar with MOBAs. But that kind of also helps you get better at the game, understanding how to fight against them and their kit and all sorts of stuff. And that was different, but that was also a big learning experience that, again, like I mentioned with Resident Evil, it's cohesive. It makes sense to the gameplay loop of the design. Like, that's kind of, it helps a lot. Yeah, it's just, you know, and the point of this video isn't to talk shit on, you know, trophies or anything. It's just, it is just a funny thing that I realized after finally getting 2 platinums that I really wanted ever since platinum trophies became a thing, right? It's just funny to see those kinds of things tied to the games that I personally really enjoy. Even if you don't enjoy them, you still see them, where it's like, oh yeah, completing the game's 100 hours. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What kind of trophies do you hate seeing the most? You know, do you ever look at a game's trophy list before you buy it, and then you decide, nope, fuck that shit, that trophy, I'm not gonna do that? Like, or what are some games that you guys started to try and get, but you just got burnt out on and just couldn't complete it? I want to know what you guys think. I want to know your guys' thoughts on the burnout trophies. So appreciate you guys sticking around. Take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Fucking garbage.
Productions.